Ladies and gentlemen, Islam is taking over China, at least tempting to. Lily J, our chief propagandist for the Ummah, our Australian white girl propagandist for the Muslims, he's here with more slop, more Islam slop. I'm Tal the Traveling Clad, proud member of 109 Club. Let's take a look at this.
Are Muslims taking over China?
Oh my God.
Are Muslims taking over China?
No, I don't want to see this woman anymore. I don't want to see this woman anymore. Whoever's paying her to make this retarded content, I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to watch it. I feel like I'm losing brain cells every time I hear her ask a stupid fucking question. Are Muslims taking over China? Arnar, did you know Muhammad was a Jew? Did you know Jesus was a Muslim? What is my crime? A Chinese meal. Eating a succulent Chinese meal. Single race societies do exist. In China, 99.9% of the society was Chinese people.
Single race societies do still exist, but there's something that's not quite right. I went to China recently and noticed that 99.9% of the society was Chinese people. Coming from Australia, which is extremely multicultural, it made me wonder, why is multiculturalism so strong in European countries, but developed Asian countries don't participate? As a result of these strict border policies, you can see a culture that has been preserved and maintained for such a long time. The opposite has happened to the target of globalism, which is the white Christian European culture. The UK, for example, is now mainly Muslim culture, a complete 180. If China or Japan or India want to keep their borders closed, it's called culture. But if a white Christian country wants to do it, it's called racism.
Okay, kind of a retarded take on this, and I'll explain to you as somebody who used to travel the world and to spend a lot of time in Asia, specifically in countries near China. China is not ethnically homogenous, actually, at all. Let me show you guys a map real quick, because I think this will probably do a better job explaining what I'm trying to talk to you about. Let me go here, maps. Problem is I have so many fucking pins on my map. It's atrocious for you guys to see. I apologize in advance for all the insane amount of pins that I have all over my map in the world. There's a lot of places I've been to, a lot of places that I want to go in the future. But let's take a look at China real quick. China is a massive country. It is huge. I learned this lesson when I was in Russia, actually. I spent quite a bit of time in Russia when I was younger. I went on a train from Moscow here. Oh, wait, I don't think you guys can see my screen fully. Let's zoom out a little bit more. There we go. So I went on a train from Moscow here all the way down here, Vladivostok, all the way far eastern Russia, it's called. And what I learned while I was traveling across Russia, it was people started looking differently. Throughout this region, through Siberia, I went to a place called Irkutsk by this lake called Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world. This city called Irkutsk in the middle. And I saw people who looked more Asian, and people changed. It was super, super diverse as I went across Russia. And I was like, oh, wait, so Russia's not just filled with white Russian people. It's actually the same exact thing in China. You have Tibetan people here in this region. In Xinjiang, you have more desert/Turkic people. This is where the Uyghurs are from, this area. Here you have, in the eastern part of China, you have more ethnically Chinese people. And then Shenzhen, Hong Kong, you have the Cantonese people. Taiwan's become a totally different, I mean, they identify totally different now. And they have an indigenous group of people that are not Chinese that are from there. The Hainan Island, this is all like Southeast Asian Chinese. Yunnan province also, more Southeast Asian. Now, when you actually look at Southeast Asia, there's a lot of places I've been to, these are actually ethnically kind of more aligned. Even Thailand itself has different ethnicities. Laos has different ethnicities inside. Cambodia, a little bit more similar. In Vietnam, a little bit more similar, more political differences. But what I'm trying to say here is, it's not ethnically homogenous. There is a residing Chinese culture that denies the rise of Islamism, that denies the idea of Islamic culture taking over. But his assessment, like Japan and Korea are definitely way better examples of ethnic homogeny than China. China has something different. It doesn't have ethnic homogeny. It has a socialist dictatorship or a communist dictatorship that forces the idea of Chinese onto everyone. For better or for worse, there are good things about it. There's a lot of negative about it. Japan and China or Japan and Korea. So you have South Korea, way smaller country than China, and Japan, way smaller country than China. There are different, by the way, ethnicities in Japan as well, but it's a little bit more like Okinawan. The people who live on these islands are different than the people who live on main Japan. And Sapporo and Hokkaido, they have different sort of cultural differences, but the residing ethnicity, there's ethnic homogeny here. In Japan is Japanese. Same in Korea is Korean. In China, that's not the case. In China, that's not the case at all, actually. There's a lot of diversity in China. And the way that they tackle people becoming Islamist is by force, is by very harsh and strict laws. I think in the West, we don't have to go as hard as they go. We can find a better balance because they actually enforce it in a lot of ways oppressively in China. So here's Uyghur Muslims in China being taken to special mental health camps for treatment. And this is a video of their mosque turning into a nightclub with alcohol, music, and dancing. In China, Islam is considered a mental illness. I think by a lot of people, probably. And again, the Uyghurs are the people who come from this region. They come from all the way out here, and they actually have a lot more in common. They're called a Turkic group of people. They have a lot more in common with groups of people from Tajikistan, from Uzbekistan, from Turkmenistan, from Kyrgyzstan, and obviously further far away from Azerbaijan, right? From Azerbaijan and Turkey. Those are called Turkic groups of people. Their origins are a little bit muddled. I'm not here to debate their origins because I know that's a heated conversation, but it's muddled. But they don't come from China, and they are oppressed in China, big time oppressed in China, and no one talks about it. For the first time, I actually think the Chinese Communist Party is right. No, I don't agree. Since CCP labeled Islam a mental illness, many mosques have been destroyed, and new mosques, halal food, Arabic writing are now completely banned. Do you agree with the CCP on this? No, I don't. This is wrong. I'm not saying, by the way, that these people destroying this mosque is wrong. I'm not saying that what they're doing here, it's their country. They have the right to enforce. Islam is not a mental illness. Islam, the religion of Islam, is not a mental illness. The interpretation and Islamist culture, Arabist culture, is definitely a mental illness, or definitely preys on people with mental illness heavily. But we don't need to result in being degenerates. That's not the idea. The idea isn't we shouldn't be like them, right? The Islamists are the ones who go around destroying people's holy places. The Islamists are the ones who go around taking and stealing from people's culture. The Arabs who colonized and ruined all these parts of the Middle East and North Africa, they're the ones who behaved like this. We don't need to stoop to that level. We can be better than that. Now, I'm saying if they're declaring a war on you and they're saying they're coming to do it to you, by all means, do it. But in China, they don't. They don't have the room to breathe. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be like this. You can give a little bit more of an inch. But you need to keep enforcement. You need to make very strict, very unchangeable rules in your society. We don't operate like this. You can't have, there's a limit to how many mosques you can have. There's a limit to how much you can expand. There's a limit to what you can do in our country. I'm all about it, but we don't have to go around abusing people. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think there's a fine balance to be found here.
They want them to be Chinese. They don't want them to be separate.
So they want the religion to be a secondary aspect.
They take it to an extreme level. It can't even be secondary. It has to just be gone completely so that they are not able to implement into their lives when they're making decisions about what to eat, when they're making decisions about how to do business, how to interact with individuals, who they choose to marry, what they choose to wear. There are images of officials cutting the dresses of Uyghurs, making them shorter above the knee because they were wearing dresses below the knee. Forget hijab. Hijab is pulled off. So Islam is seen as an obstacle for assimilation of the Uyghurs. That's why they have to ban it completely. They want them to be Chinese.
See, I don't think we need to go that far. I think there's a way to coexist with it. There's definitely a way to make it happen. Just it needs to be more of a balance. It doesn't need to be so extremist. Here's the Scottish Korean.
Just says it straight. Islam is a disease that needs to be cured. Islam is not just a religion, it's a full civilization with its own laws, culture, politics, and a worldview that goes far beyond private beliefs. Surah chapter 9, verse 5. Kill the polytheists wherever you find them, and capture them and besiege them, and sit at every place of ambush. The West must stay Christian. Islam is not compatible with Christianity. There are 50 Muslim countries around the world. Why the fuck would you come to the West if you want to live under Sharia law? China.
Ryan's funny. He's a more comedian, I would say, than anything else. And there's elements of truth in what he's saying. I agree with the fact there's 50 Muslim countries. Don't come to the fucking West if you want to convert everyone to Islam. That's bullshit. Stay away from the West. Nobody wants you in the West if that's your goal. But can we find a way to tolerate each other? Yes, 100%. There's room to coexist. I believe in it. I believe in coexistence, by the way. I'm not an anti-coexistence guy. I think we can make it happen. It just takes time. It takes a little bit of finesse. It takes a little bit of thought. These aren't solutions that come up overnight. But they're also not solutions that they're not solutions that you can put just a Band-Aid on. Because this is China versus Islam.
Right, you bullying Muslim pricks, stop picking on 16 million Jews. Also, leave the goats alone. There's 2.2 fucking billion of you guys. Stop picking on this tiny little population.
Homosexual and make sure they all teach about the transgender.
There's billions of Asians. Time to declare war on the Asians. Just fucking try it, Islam. Try to declare war on China. We'll fucking end you. I swear to God. Game on.
So that is what important to me.
There are 50 Muslim countries around the world. Why the fuck would you move to the West if you want to live under Sharia law? Fucking leave the Jews alone.
I fucking love China because this is the country that turns mosques into public toilets.
Ryan's funny, man. I don't hate Ryan. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him on everything. I really don't. But I do find him fucking hilarious. I think a lot of shit he does is funny. I get it. He's poking this. I said, if Muslims didn't want a person like Ryan to come up, you guys needed to behave better. And you didn't. You just didn't. I'll see you guys next one. I love you long time.